Guys, welcome to Share Your Mindsets. Tonight, I got a special guest with me. Is Beanie. Beanie is doing an amazing job out there, sharing how to transform your mind and body with the special message that we're going to share today. She's sharing a special and powerful method, and today we're going to understand what is that behind. So, welcome, Beanie, to Share Your Mindsets. How are you today?
Really well, thanks. Thanks so much for having me. Really good to meet you.
I'm really excited to have you today because literally I want to know everything about you. Literally, first, the story. What is Vinny's story?
So the story is I was living abroad and I was living in South America and I got really into yoga and nutrition out there. And then I came back to London to study. And then whilst also studying, I was spending time in India, also studying yoga. So I became a nutritionist primarily, which took about 4 years, studying kind of from a very holistic point of view. So thinking about the whole mind and the body as kind of one engine, and also whilst teaching yoga. So I had this kind of combined understanding of we couldn't just work on both mind, we couldn't just work on mind or body. We had to think of it as the kind of whole thing.
Love it. I love it. So, for how long have you been in South America and India so far?
So I had a year and just under 2 years in South America and South America, Central America, and India. And whilst there was, so much insight into ancient practices that have been used, particularly with Ayurvedic medicine, but also like holistic practices in maybe Guatemala that I was living in a yoga retreat out there in a tree house, and it was just very basic living, but they had this incredible vegetable garden, growing all sorts of amazing foods. And we literally just ate off the land. And I kind of assisted the chef in producing whatever we had available, really. And we didn't have much electricity. So it was kind of creating the most delicious meals from not very much. And people were vibrant there. People felt good, and people had good energy. People were sleeping well, and it was. I kind of understood that this was a good way to live.
Absolutely, 110%. I agree with you. And that's a really nice story of how you end up now teaching this amazing method that you've been crafting yourself. But before I want to go to that, I want to ask you, what is the hobbies at the moment that you are having on the day-to-day basis?
Hobbies or practices.
Oh,
Because I'd say there's things that I do every day, which I consider to be a practice, but they maybe also would be a hobby. For example, like yoga or meditation could be a hobby, could be a practice. Do
I
you see what I mean?
understand. Yes, 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 yes. So what is first of all, tell me take me through your day. How do you set up your day? And also what is the things that is keeping you accountable to have that connection and working as a one engine, as you said, mind and body.
So I wake up, and the first thing I would usually do, this is a good day. Some days this doesn't happen, but my perfect day would be wake up at maybe 7, and then I would straight away do Wim Hof breathing, 15 minutes, 3 rounds of Wim Hof breathing. Um, and then for me, that would be a perfect precursor to going into a meditation. Now, I would try at minimum just do 15 minutes. If I've got longer and I can sit for longer, I would try and do maybe 30 or 45 would be great. But just getting in 10 to 15 minutes, anyways, I can totally notice the difference. Um, and then perhaps I would go to the gym and I might go spinning, or I might do something less intense, like a hot yoga class, 45 minutes. Um, and then from there, I would move into the day and I would start working. Where possible, I would love to get a sauna in the morning, followed by a cold shower. That's obviously not always possible if work's starting early. Occasionally, I'm teaching, well, on a weekly basis, I'm also teaching yoga in the morning. So it kind of is a bit flexible, but dream day would be wake up, breathe, meditation, get myself down to the gym, hopefully walking along the canal, which is a nice walk, really nice start to the day, perhaps speaking to a friend, go to the class, sauna, cold shower, get ready for the day, start work.
Wow.
Um, I'm big into early nights, so try to get the bulk of my work done in the earlier part of the day, so the evening can be really for relaxation and an early bed. Like I love to be in bed by 10 o'clock.
I love it. And I think that's a really good point of you getting things done, but also taking care of yourself, especially in the evening time where I think most of us, including myself, we're still a bit wired and making many
Yeah.
things in the evening. because we are on a fast-paced world, especially in the first world. Like,
Totally.
so, wow,
And
that's
and
really
from
interesting.
sorry, and from what I see a lot working with nutrition clients is people wanting, for example, to lose weight, but being so wired and so exhausted, the body's not really in the perfect state to be shifting pounds when it's really exhausted, fatigued, and quite stressed out. So this idea of really winding down in the evening and bringing on really lovely sleep and having good quality sleep, I think really promotes feeling energized in the morning, but also it's great for weight management, which is a focus of mine in my nutrition clinic.
Wow, that's so powerful. I love that idea. That's where I want to take you now to this discovering of what you do. Especially, is like, what is the meaning of the health space? Why you put a name to the movement that you're doing?
So it's primarily a nutrition clinic, and that I focus on women's health. My ideal client, for example, would be like tend to be a woman between the age of 27 maybe and 55. So I focus a lot on women's health, hormonal imbalances like PCOS, PMS, perimenopause, menopause, and then also particularly weight loss and gut health issues. So those are my main areas of expertise. The other thing I've really started to work on is with brides, and I love working with brides mainly because why do we get results? Well, I can give all the best information in the world. We get results when somebody else has the motivation to do it. So if you get a bride 3 months pre their wedding, they really have the motivation and impetus to do almost anything and really invest in their health. So it's such a great way of like harnessing that motivation and getting great results. So they come to you whilst just wanting to feel good in their wedding dress, and you can do some maybe deeper work on helping alleviate constipation or working on better sleep or working on more balancing blood sugar levels. So you can do some quite deeper work whilst they might have come to you for kind of just to have glowing skin and feel really good in their dress.
Wow, I love that. I love that, and hopefully you can still helping so many other brides out there that they will require that support from you. And literally, it's, I think, uh, is better than a quick fix because you are giving them the
Exactly.
foundations so they can keep that thing going on through the full rest of their life. So that's amazing. I really love that.
Yeah, and absolutely. It's particularly with a program like that with brides, for example, the most important thing for me is to make sure that after the wedding, you still have session at least one session to try and organize like a post-wedding plan, because you don't want everything to fall to pieces. Like they've worked so hard for 3 months. You don't want everything to fall to pieces. You want to keep up that momentum. And whilst you might slightly dial it down a bit, you still want to you've enforced these great habits, so we don't want to lose those. We want to keep those going forward into married life and long after. So we were talking about like sustainable lasting change here. We're not talking about quick fixes.
Absolutely. And I totally agree with that. Here is the next question in regards to what you're saying is like, why why did you end up dedicating yourself to the health and well-being? What does that happen to you, or what it make you realize that that is the path of the way that you need to spend your days in this world?
Yeah, it was almost like a natural progression, and then it became really obvious that I don't know what else I would do. So there, this is totally where my passions lie, and it's not just one part of health. Like I'm interested in all parts of natural health, and also how natural health can work alongside modern medicine, which is obviously incredible as well. So it's not one or the other. It's like seeing it as a collaboration, and at some point you might need more than one, more of one than the other. But if we can really keep ourselves well, and you can see these incredible transformations, say for example with weight loss, you put a stone in the pond, and it creates this ripple effect. You start to create weight loss. Someone is sleeping better, someone has more energy, so someone is more patient because their blood sugar levels are more imbalanced or their hormones are more imbalanced. And as a result, they're kinder in their relationships or they can do better at work. So I can see this beautiful ripple effect of people that you work with where they might just be coming to you with one thing in mind that they want to improve. And then the ripple effect of that is so much grander than they ever imagined. And they feel really empowered because at the end of the day, you've given them the information, but they've done the work. And so that's a really empowering position to come from, like feeling really good and strong and healthy in your body. that's the foundation for a good day, right? Feeling good in the mind, feeling balanced, healthy in the mind and healthy in the body. And if we can get the fundamentals right, sleeping well, eating well, doing something for the mind, and moving the body in a way that feels right for you, then you've got the foundations on which everything else can build and be, from quite stable foundations.
I love the foundations, and literally, I will apply myself. But literally, it's really interesting because sometimes I will say so. I don't know if you agree with me, but sometimes we need to come back to the basics and to the simple things
Absolutely.
sometimes, right? And trying to listen
Yeah.
to our body. So that's really interesting how you're putting across the foundations and how you support your clients, and how you can aim to provide a better understanding of how everything works inside but also outside. And something that I want to ask you is like, what is the biggest life lessons that you got studying in India, studying in South America, in Central America?
That perhaps you can't isolate different parts of the body, like seeing the body as a whole and seeing it as not a static thing, but something that's always going to change and evolve over life. So finding out what works for you and how that will be totally unique to you. There's no one size fits all when it comes to diet or ways to live. There's thousands, hundreds of thousands of ways we can live, but finding what like healthy balanced life looks like for you, so you have something to come back to. Because we all veer off path at certain times, but it's really nice if you've got something really solid that makes you feel really balanced, stable, and kind of not in control, I think is the wrong word, but on top of things. And if you've got that to come back to, it's really an empowering place to be. And obviously, again, that can change over life, but I definitely learned that from being away, that seeing the body as a whole and getting these foundations in place.
I think that's totally something that I've been even thinking right now. I'm imagining myself, as you're saying, trying to track that progress, trying to keep yourself accountable on top of the things that sometimes we are just living life without keeping an eye of how we are feeling, how things are making us feel, and how we are reacting to certain things. Understanding as well that we are unique individuals. And as you said, like for example, for me, maybe that coffee is totally okay, but probably for you not. Or probably that diet, keto diet, it may work fantastic for you, but maybe not for another person. So that's something that thank you, because is I one of my dreams is like more people need to be aware of that thing of everything is totally different in regards to each individual. So
Which is why I really encourage, for example, personal training or seeing a personalized nutritionist, because just because you've read this book on a certain particular diet, or your best friend does it, your mum does it, your dad does it, whoever, a colleague, that does not mean that it's going to be right for you. So, and there's so much information out there. I think it's really hard to decipher what's good quality information and what's not. So sometimes having some support just to help find exactly what's right for you is such a valuable investment that you can take with you on into life. And it's not to say that that'll be it forever, but I think investing in that and getting really good quality support and actually helping to decipher through all of the information so that you have a really good plan of what works for you is such a great thing to do, particularly particularly in challenging times when you've got perhaps a health concern, or there's a niggle or something you need to address, just to help get you to the root cause of it. Definitely having some support, professional support from a registered practitioner is so advisable from my point of view.
absolutely, I totally agree with you. Something that I want to ask you also is, what is the most common thing that you usually find when you're working with clients? Is something that usually come out quite often?
Yeah. One thing is we don't drink enough water. That's a common theme amongst clients, particularly for weight loss. I'm like, this is the simplest tip. Everyone wants a supplement they've never heard of, some kind of crazy supplement which is going to help them lose weight. I'm like, the simplest tip I can give you, which is free, is drink filtered, good quality water. And first thing in the morning, properly rehydrate. So common thing is that people are dehydrated, and as a result, they're either constipated or they're having headaches, or their skin is dry, or their bowels aren't moving regularly. So dehydration is a big one. And then I think something that's really overlooked, which is a common theme, is that our bodies respond perhaps really well to regularity, and perhaps not realizing that, like, whatever it is as a routine that works for you, routine is king. The body loves routine. It allows the circadian rhythm, our sleep wake cycle, to be in balance. That filters into our hormones being in balance. So if we can infiltrate routine, of course there needs to be flexibility within that, but routine in the day is so key. And when we're kind of a bit all over the place with times that we're eating, times we're going to bed, waking up times and everything, it can throw other systems of the body out of whack.
Oh, love it. Thank you so much for sharing that simple but effective point of view and consideration that we need to just be aware of and come back to the basics. So really appreciate that. Also, a really big question that I want to ask you is like, it was an important person or book that influenced your way of living life, and in a big way or not?
Yeah. Who? Sorry. Is there someone?
Yes, if it's like a person or a book
Yeah.
that changed
I
your
mean, for me,
perspective.
it was my mom, because she's in her mid 60s and I've never seen her ill, and she's the healthiest woman I know, and she's a real inspiration. And she could exercise all of us kids under the table. She is always researching. She's always looking to learn, to try something new, both in terms of health, but also in terms of hobbies. Um, and she was definitely the person who sparked my interest from a really young age, of just being really, really genuinely passionate about health. And even though she's not trained, she has so much knowledge, and that has totally inspired me, from a young age to get into this. Absolutely.
Wow, that's so amazing, and having that close to you, I think that's also help you to now supporting more people, which is beautiful. So, Beanie, what is the vision for yourself here in the future? What you want to achieve with the health space?
So the main vision is really just to help as many people in my nutrition clinic address health concerns, particularly around women's health and weight loss, that or gut issues that are problematic to them on a daily basis. And as you said, a lot of this stuff is quite simple, but it's helping them do it in practice. It's like, okay, we're breaking habits or we're introducing new ones. And this takes consistency and hard work. And sometimes it means having the same conversation 4 times on 4 consecutive weeks. And so sometimes change is slow. So I think it's supporting people to be empowered in making the changes that are going to enrich their lives, and in maybe a small way, but also maybe in a more profound, bigger way.
Absolutely, and I totally agree with you, and I want to keep supporting that mission that you have, because that's literally, I think that the more we can empower others, the more the better world we are going to have, and I think the more awake we are going to realize that how powerful we are as a human beings, because we are one of those
Absolutely.
species that we are so unique as a human beings that we don't realize that, and sometimes we are our worst enemy sometimes without knowing it.
Absolutely.
So that's powerful what you've been telling me today, literally, and I love, and I can talk here for hours with you, but I know that you got their commitments, also myself. But yes, guys, this is Vinny, and this is the health space, sharing the message and the story behind of what is the purpose behind that. So thank you for having the opportunity to share all the knowledge. Where they can find more about you? What is the events that you're having, how they can emerge themselves with your knowledge?
Oh, well, thanks so much for having me. It's been so good to talk to you and finally meet you. The two best places probably would be on my Instagram handle at the health underscore space, and then or my website, which is www.thehealth-space.com, would probably be the two best ways. And get in contact, email me any queries, questions you have. Yeah, really would be happy to speak to anyone. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And also, guys, remember that she's holding a event really soon about detox. Can you tell us more about that so they can get the idea of what is the events and how often do you do it, and that would
Of
be amazing.
course. Oh, this is actually the first I've done of this kind. It's a 4 week post summer detox program. I thought it was quite timely because, perhaps everyone's been maybe drinking a wine and having some beers over the summer and maybe a lot of barbecues. So it was like a post summer reset almost. 4 weeks long. We start on the 20th of September. You can buy a ticket on Eventbrite, and you basically schedule in your initial session, and then you have 4 weeks of sessions in a row. And we basically create a nutrition plan, and we tweak it every 4 weeks going forward from there. So you could shift some weight, really just get in better shape post summer, feel energized, and really boost the immune system as you work towards the winter months when we want to be properly bolstered to stave off any colds, anything flying around.
Wow, that sounds like a perfect solution after this crazy summer, especially now on holidays and more places that you can go. So yes, guys, if you want to have the ideal nutrition, especially with someone who is going to support you and make you understand how your body works, here is Vinny's supporting you. So remember, guys, Eventbrite, and I will put all the links below as well after this amazing video. So thank you guys for watching this amazing Share Your Mindset episode, and see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you so much.